she said, you know, the reason they're all going after me is because, you know, they know I'm so
Okay,
tough.
we've got Bill Richardson, the governor of New Mexico, joining us. Governor Richardson, why did you defend Hillary Clinton tonight if you're running against her?
Well, I simply was pointing out that I thought the attacks were getting personal, not on the issues. You know, I've read the accounts of John Edwards and Barack saying that she's not trustworthy, that she's controlled by special interests. I think the issue should be on differences. I have big differences with her on Iraq, on education issues. They just didn't call on me. And I think on the fundamental issue, getting our troops out, you know, I have the strongest plan.
Yeah.
And since nobody asked me...
Let's take a look at you defending Hillary Clinton tonight, Governor. Let's watch you defending the frontrunner. She's 30, 40 points ahead of you guys, and you're out there defending her. I've never seen a strategy like that. Let's watch you tonight, Governor, please.
I'm hearing this holier-than-thou attitude towards Senator Clinton, that it's bothering me because it's pretty close to personal attacks that we don't need. Do we trust her? Do she take money from special interests? We need to be positive in this campaign. Yes, we need to point out our differences, and I have big differences with her over the war. I would get all our troops out. Over No Child Left Behind, I'd get rid of it. I also have differences over Iran. I think that was the wrong vote for her to cast because I think it was saber-rattling. But I think it's important that we save the ammunition.
Well, you know, the point that those other candidates were making was that she's using double talk, and then at the very end of the debate tonight, she was particularly challenged on that issue because she said she supported Governor Spitzer's decision to give driver's licenses to people in the country illegally, and then she said she didn't in the space of a minute, as one of the candidates pointed out. That was John Edwards. Don't you think she's on the verge here of double talk in the way she approached that issue at the end of the debate?
Well, towards the end, yeah, that was a confusing answer. But my point, Chris, is that we shouldn't get personal. And personal is saying you're controlled by special interests. You can't be trusted. Look, on the issue of the war, I'm just sorry it didn't come up. I have a website, getourtroopsout.com, and I was frustrated because that's the big difference among all the candidates. I get all the troops out within 6 to 8 months. And I believe that we need to do that to bring a political settlement, to get an all-Muslim peacekeeping force, to have a plan to give stability to Iraq. And that never came up. So I continue to hope that I am recognized, and it doesn't happen, and it's regrettable.
What do you think of the debate tonight and your performance? Do you believe, Governor Richardson, that tonight will have an effect on the next NBC Wall Street Journal poll of who the Democratic Party wants as its presidential nominee? That's coming out next week. Do you think tonight will affect those numbers?
No, it won't affect the national numbers, Chris. Those are name recognition polls. I believe that I'll have inroads in Iowa, in New Hampshire. That's what I care about. I have the clearest position on the war. I have the clearest position on energy. You heard me talk about that. And by the way, I have a book coming out this week, leading by example, on how we have to become green, how we have to reduce our dependence on foreign oil and reduce greenhouse gas emissions. I think when we look at the issues and experience and change, Bill Richardson on these debates, I talk about policy. I don't get into personal attacks. I don't get into tactics. I get into what I would do as president to bring this country together.
Well, being from New Mexico, Governor, and being the governor of that state, do you believe in UFOs? I mean, it's an odd thing to ask. I wouldn't have asked it, except Dennis Kucinich, candidate for president, U.S. congressman, tonight said that he saw a UFO. Do you think that's credible? Or is that disqualifying for a presidential candidate to say you've seen UFOs?
You know, I've never seen one. You know, Roswell, New Mexico is the hotbed of UFOs, and I promote Roswell as a tourism issue, but there is no credible evidence.
About Roswell.
You know, the fact is, Chris,
do you have to be a booster
Chris,
for UFOs as governor of that state?
No. The federal government has not come clean on all that issue, and it should. But no, I've never seen one. I doubt of their existence, but I admit, you know, I'm the governor of the state. I push the tourism promotion side, like Billy the Kid, too. You know, I'm also trying to bring tourism to my state, but no, that
Wait a minute.
I don't think there's any
Wait a minute.
left.
Stop the music. Stop the music, Governor. Did you say the United States government is covering up a history of a UFO sighting in your state? You said the government hasn't cleared this up yet. What are they hiding that you say about a UFO?
No, they haven't. Well, they don't produce documents, Chris. They should just get it all out. And there's a known history about this.
What is a conspiracy? What is your belief
if
that
they
they're
released
hiding?
all documents? Look, I don't believe they're UFOs, but the government has not handled this well over the years. That's a historical fact. It's like on every issue, the energy papers of Secretary Cheney, they overclassify everything. There's too much bureaucracy. But, you know, we do in Roswell, New Mexico, have a tradition of a UFO museum. It's a tourist attraction, and I don't think there's any credible evidence there is. But the government would help their case if they just declassified all the papers
you know,
on this.
with all respect, Governor, I think I'm seeing now a battle between the anti-evolutionary party and the pro-UFO party developing here. This is a little... I'm sorry, I'm just kidding. It's too odd. Anyway, thank you, Governor, for coming on. When we come back...
Thank you, Chris.